And then we have, beyond that, the whole issue of judicial activism. And this is something you really need to understand and you really need to speak against. Here, and there's no better place for this setting than the particular bird that's right now under my saddle, the judges that occupy this building, they want to tell us that we need to spend an additional $30 million to build them a new courthouse. No. You're right. We have 6 judges, 7 courtrooms, and they think we need more courtrooms. $30 million, when you combine that with the operating costs, is about 4 to 5 cents on your tax rate. It is essentially about a 7 or 8% tax increase that they want to force upon us. And you sit there and in the debates that we have in the board on this, repeat it over and over again is we have to. The judges are telling us. The judges are going to make us do this. You've got to speak out against that. You've got to make sure that whether it's the mandates coming down, whether it's judicial activism, you've got to make sure that that is also under control. Because it's not about just the taxes that are being done today. It is what we're being told and what others are telling us to do that then we're forced into. You know, I sit there, I agree. You can fire them. The judges should not have a lifetime appointment. That is ridiculous. You look at the Supreme Court. Nowhere is this more clear. We're going to have a new Supreme Court nominee probably within a matter of a month. What are they going to stand for? They're going to sit there and they're going to tell everybody about how they're going to force things down America's throat. This is what I stand, this is what I believe. They're not going to sit there. They're not in a position where they're going to tell anybody how to pay for it. They're just going to tell you, pay for it. We can't afford it. I sit there and I look at, we're going through our budget now. It isn't easy. It's difficult. We at the county level, we have cut spending for the last couple of years, and we're going to continue to cut spending. But everybody keeps coming in. Oh, we need this. We have to have this. You'd be surprised at the things you don't need or you don't have to have. When I first showed up on the board, we had in Stafford County a Department of Transportation, an Office of Transportation. We didn't build roads. We didn't design roads. We didn't manage roads. We didn't maintain roads. We didn't do anything with roads except drive on them. But we were spending a couple $100,000 a year on an Office of Transportation. They couldn't tell me for the life what they did. We've gotten rid of that office. We've gotten rid of a number of other offices. And we're going to continue to do so. Right now, we had a joint, those of you who've been tracking the newspaper, if you're here from Stafford, we're in the session with the school board. I started looking at their budget. They're requesting for next year $7.5 million increase in the school's budget. They tell us they need it for education. But when you get into their budget, it turns out of $7.5 million, $126,000 is for education. The rest of it's for administration. Of $7.5 million, they're telling me my kids get $126,000 spread amongst all the schools, while the Alvin Bandy building across the street gets $7.3 million. We can't afford it. We don't need it. And it's not going to do anything. So, again, I'm all for it. That's in your hands. It's in my hands, too, as a voter. I can't fire him as a supervisor, but I can tell you I'm not going to give them the money for increased administrative costs, and they need to cut some of the administrative costs they have now. Education begins at the school, not at the administration, and we need to make sure that they understand it, that they know it, and that they start looking for the same efficiencies we have. These times are tough. We have rolled back BPOL, the business professional occupancy license, eliminated it. We don't need to be telling business they need to be paying more as they're going out of business. We need to be telling business, come to Stafford County, open up business, bring in additional revenues that we can use. Give us jobs so we don't have to commute north every day. That's what we need. We don't need to increase taxes, as some of my colleagues, particularly Mr. Woodson from the Widewater District, will say. We don't need that. We need the jobs. Again, I want to thank you guys for being here today. What you guys are doing is very, very important. Don't show up today. Show up when we do our budget meetings. Show up and speak out against what you see as your priorities and what you don't see as your priorities. Don't just do it here. Do it down at the General Assembly. Fight against mandates. Fight against judges telling us what we have to do. Go to the federal government and fight against the mandates there. Because we've got to get all the spending under control, because my 11-year-old, my 6-year-old, and my 3-year-old cannot afford this. Again, thank you all for being here today, and have a good one.